Good afternoon, everyone. Let us
Good
start.
afternoon, sir.
Remember, we have been learning the first chapter, Resources and Development. Today, we shall discuss about soil as a resource. Now, I shall share my screen. So, this is the topic, soil as a resource. Last time also we discussed about land as a resource. Actually, soil is nothing but part of the land, and it also naturally automatically becomes a resource. Okay, so it is explained here. Soil is the most important renewable natural resource. Okay, it can be back, it can be renewed every year. So it is the medium of plant growth and support different systems of living organisms on earth, and hence the soil becomes a resource to us. Okay, so let me repeat, soil is the medium of plant growth. So, means on it plants are growing, and the soil support different types of living organisms, from the microscopic organism to the biggest one it supports, and that is why soil is a resource, and soil is a living system. Okay, but you must know that it takes millions of years to form soil up to a few centimeters in depth. To form 1 centimeter thick layer of soil takes millions of years, that you must know. However, destruction, okay, a 10 centimeter or maybe 1 meter thick layer of soil can be destructed within 15 minutes or 20 minutes, so on. Okay, and that is why we have to use soil judiciously. After that, here you will find the factors affecting the formation of soil. So what are the factors affecting the formation of soil? We have relief, parent rock or bedrock, climate, vegetation, and other forms of life, and time. So these are the factors affecting the formation of soil. Relief, that is landforms. We have different types of landforms: mountains, plains, plateaus. Soils form on the mountains, soils form on the plains, and in the plateaus are quite different from each other. Okay, in the quality as well as in the other maybe in the other properties also. It may be different in color, it may be different in the size of the grain, and so on. Likewise, parent rock. Okay, so from which type of rock the soil is derived? So soil derived from metamorphic rocks, soils derived from igneous rocks, or soils derived from sedimentary rocks may be different from each other in color or in quality, also in fertility also. Likewise, climate also affects the rate of soil formation. Soils are formed when very big rocks are withered. When big rocks are broken down into smaller pieces, soils are formed, and this breaking down of rocks depend on the climatic condition. Okay, the rate of breaking down may be different from cold region to hot regions. Likewise, vegetation and life forms supply the humus contained of the soils. In the areas of bare surface, the fertility may be less as compared to the areas with thick vegetation cover. And last of all, we have the time. Okay, so younger soils are more coarse. Okay, when we analyze the size of the grain, the younger one you will find rock fragments, but the older one, since the withering process has been taken for a long time, then you will find more finer soil grains. So in this way, these factors affect the soil formation, and various forces of nature such as change in temperature, actions of running water, wind and glaciers, and activities of decomposers, etc., contribute to the formation of soil. Action of bacteria, then action of other microorganisms, including earthworms, are very great in the process of soil formation. Okay, and chemical and organic changes which take place in the soil are equally important. And the soil consists of organic humus and inorganic materials, and you will find in figure number 1.5. Okay, so here let us see figure number 1.5. So this is figure number 1.5, and it depicts soil profile. Soil profile means a vertical section of a soil is known as soil profile, and in the soil profile you will find different layers. Okay, here we find different layers. So this is the first layer, next we have second. So each layer is known as a horizon, and in geography the topmost layer is known as a horizon. The topmost layer is known as a horizon. So this topmost layer contains humus, and this very thin layer supports all the crops and vegetation. And that next to it we have another layer, and this layer is known as B horizon. Okay, so this layer is known as B horizon, and this horizon contains materials derived from above as well as from below. This is the transition layer. Okay, so this V horizon contains material derived from above as well as from below. And the next we have the third layer. The third layer is known as the C horizon. Okay, so it is known as C horizon, and actually this layer contains mainly this withered material. Okay, withered, see here, withered parent rock material means rock fragments. And the last one, so this is bad rock, the rocks, okay, which supply materials for the soil. This is the bad rock. So in this way we have three important layers in a soil profile. We call it A horizon, B horizon and a C horizon. In some other books you may find the topmost layer is the O horizon, next you'll find A horizon, then B horizon, and the next you'll find C horizon. Okay, so in some other books you'll find it. Any question, boys and girls, about soil horizon? Okay, if you don't have questions, then let us continue. On the basis of the factors responsible for soil formation, color, thickness, texture, age, chemical and physical properties, the soils of India are classified in different types as given below. Okay, soils can be classified in many ways. Here the types of soils given here are on the basis of factors affecting the soil formation, color, thickness, texture, age, chemical and physical properties. Texture means the size of the grains, okay, the size of the soil particle, that is known as texture. Whether the particle is big or small, that is called texture. Okay, next we have classification of soils. India has varied relief features, landforms, climatic realms and vegetation types, and these have contributed in the development of various types of soils. So India is a big country. India has different types of landforms, different types of climatic regions, and different types of vegetation, and hence we find different types of soils. So the first important type of soil is alluvial soils. Okay, now let us read the characteristics. Alluvial soils, this is the most widely spread and important soil. So alluvial soils is the most widely spread soil in India, the most common, okay, and most important in terms of agriculture is concerned. In fact, the entire northern plains are made of alluvial soils, and these have been deposited by the three important Himalayan river or streams, okay. Those are the Indus, the Ganga, and the Brahmaputra. About the formation of the northern plains, we have learned in class 9, okay. There was a depression south of the Himalayas, and the rivers flowing from the Himalayas and the peninsular plateaus brought a lot of sediments, and those sediments fill up the depression, thus form the Ganga plain, the northern plains. That means the soils in the northern India are mainly formed by deposition works of the Indus, Ganga, and Brahmaputra. Okay, and see here about distribution of soils. So this is the map showing distribution of soils. Just see here, okay, this color code, this one, light blue one. So this color code shows alluvial soils. See here, I think you may be seeing the entire northern plains, including this Brahmaputra valley, okay. Then here in this area, and here including some parts of this Gujarat also. Here you'll find these alluvial soils, this area. States also, I think you can see Assam, Bihar, West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, then some part of Rajasthan, then Gujarat, as well as the coastal area. See here the coastal areas, okay. So you may read the maps in your textbook, and these soils also extend in Rajasthan and Gujarat. Just I have shown you these soils extend in Rajasthan. See this area, okay, this area and eastern part of Rajasthan here. And then through a narrow corridor, alluvial soil is also found in the eastern coastal plains, particularly in the deltas of Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, and Kaveri rivers. And see here in the eastern coastal plain, I think you're seeing alluvial soils here, okay. See in this area, and those rivers are flowing here, Mahanadi river, then Godavari river, Kaveri, Krishna, all the rivers are flowing here, and in the deltas of this river we find alluvial soils, okay. And here we have a photograph showing alluvial soils. Actually the color ranges from light gray to dark gray, depending on the content of the clay materials, okay. And see here, up to here, any question, boys and girls, about alluvial soils? Okay, if you don't have, then let us continue. The alluvial soils consist of various proportion of sand, silt, and clay. These are the three important components of alluvial soil: sand, silt, and clay. Okay, so depending on the percentage of the these three components, the color differs. If the clay content is more, then it is dark gray, and if it is less, then light gray. If it is sandy, it contains lot more sand, then it becomes sometimes reddish also, yellowish also. And as we move inland towards the river valleys, the soil particles appear somewhat bigger in size, okay. And in the upper reaches of the river valley, near the place of break of slope, the soils are coarse. This you may see let us say this is a mountain, and at the back of the slope means here. This place is known as the back of the slope, and let us say this is the mouth of the river. Here we have the sea. Okay, so this is the sea, let us say. And see here, the size of the particle here at the back of the slope is in this area, okay, is big. And as you know, as we move from the coastal areas towards the inland, the size of the particles become bigger and bigger, as indicated here in the book. Okay, as we move inland towards the river valleys, the soil particles are somewhat bigger in size. So when we move from the coastal areas towards the land, size of the particles become bigger and bigger, and at the back of the slope it is big. And such soils are more common in the Piedmont plains, such as duars, shoals, and terrae. Here, Piedmont plains means the plains formed at the foothills. Okay, here, this area is known as Piedmont. Okay, Piedmont plain. Piedmont. And here it is coarse. And in class 9 you have learned about terrae. Okay, what is that? Do you remember? Actually, terrae is a wetland area. Okay, terrae is a wetland. Just see in class 9 we learned that this is the Himalayan mountains, and at the foothills of the Himalayan mountains, here in this area, we find a narrow belt consisting these pebbles and the sand, and this section is known as Bhavar. And here all the rivers flowing from the Shivaliks are disappeared here, going down, and it is re-emerged here next to Bhavar. And because of that re-emergence of the river, okay, it becomes a wetland. This area becomes a wetland, and hence this area, okay, this wetland area is known as terrae, and this area is known as Bhavar, as we have learned in class 9. Okay, and about these dwars, actually these are the alluvial floodplains in the eastern and northeastern India that lie south of the outer foothills of the Himalayas. That means dwars are the floodplains that lie south of Shivalik mountains, okay, and north of Brahmaputra basin. And so these dwars are 30 kilometers wide and 350 kilometers long, from Tista River in West Bengal to the Dhansuri River in Assam. If you see this map, okay, here we have a river known as Tista River, and from here up to here along the foothills of the mountain, you will find the dwars, the floodplains south of Shivaliks, okay, south of the Himalayan mountains, outer range of these Himalayan mountains. And shoals, shoals, these are the purest seasonal rivers flowing down from the Shivaliks. And in the plain areas, the beds of these seasonal rivers are broad, braided, shallow, and sandy. And these shoals destroys a large area of the fertile plain by depositing sands and pebbles. So shoals, as I told you, shoals here, it refers to the purest seasonal rivers flowing down from the Shivaliks. Okay, and these shoals destroys the fertile plain areas. And any question up to here? Boys and girls, any question? So if you don't have questions, then let me continue. Apart from the size of their grains or components, soils are also described on the basis of their age. Soils also can be classified on the basis of their age. According to their age, alluvial soils can be classified as old alluvial, Bhangar, and new alluvial, also known as Khadar locally. About this also we have learned in class 9. The Bhangar soils has a higher concentration of Kankar nodules. You know Kankar nodules? These are the grains of calcium carbonate. Okay, and this Khadar has more fertile particles and is more fertile than the Bhangar. So this is the comparison between Khadar and the Bhangar. So here I will tell you. See, it is like this. After Terai, okay, after Terai you will find these alluvial terraces, tier-like steps like this, and after that you will find Ganga river. Okay, and after that again alluvial terraces, and let us say this is the Ganga river, and you will find levees, embankment of Ganga. Okay, and here in these upper terraces, see here in these terraces you will find Bhangar. Okay, you will find Bhangar, also known as older alluvium, since it is far away from the river. It is far away from the river. So it is not so fertile. However, here in the floodplain, in the low-lying areas here, just nearby the river Ganga, we have a low-lying area, and this low-lying area is known as floodplain. So in these floodplains of Ganga river, you will find a type of soil known as Khadar. Okay, since it is lying in the floodplains of the Ganga river, it is continuously enriched. When the Ganga river is in flood, okay, when the Ganga river is in flood, the flood water will cover this low-lying area. Because of that, see, the low-lying area is enriched with very fine sediments like silk. You know, when there is flood, then it carries a lot of fine sediments, and that will be deposited in the low-lying area in these floodplains. So that is why the soils found in the floodplains are fertile, and locally in India it is known as Khadar. Where the soil in the upper reaches of the Ganga is known as Bhangar. Okay, and the Bhangar contains more grains of calcium carbonate. And the alluvial soils as a whole are very fertile. About some important characteristics of alluvial soils. Okay, alluvial soils are very fertile, and mostly these soils contain adequate proportion of potash, phosphoric acid, and lime, which are ideal for the growth of sugarcane, paddy, and wheat, and other cereals and pulse crops. Okay, and due to its high fertility, the regions of alluvial soils are intensively cultivated and densely populated. And the soils in the dry areas are more alkaline. Alkaline, you know, the pH value is more than 6.5. Okay, if the pH value, see here, if the hydrogen ion concentration, okay, if the pH value is more than 6.5 in the case of soil. In the case of water it is 7, but for the soil it is 6.5. The neutral value is 6.5, and if the pH value is more than 6.5, we call it this alkaline. Okay, in the dry areas, these alluvial soils are alkaline and can be productive after the proper treatment and irrigation. Okay, up to here, any question, boys and girls? See, regarding dwarfs, See, this photograph shows tea garden in the Duars of West Bengal, in Jalpaiguri area. Okay, in Jalpaiguri area. So this is a scene of tea garden in the Duars of West Bengal. And one more photograph, as you have learned earlier. So this is an example of a photograph showing terai, a wetland. Okay, I think you may be seeing water also. So this is a photograph showing terai in UP. Any other question, boys and girls?
No, sir.
Then we have another type of soils, black soils, and these soils are black in color and so are known as rigor soils. Okay, black soils are also known as rigor soils locally, and black soil is ideal for growing cotton, and hence it is also known as black cotton soil. It is believed that climatic conditions along with parent rock material are important factor for the formation of black soils. Okay, parent rocks determine the quality and other physical properties, chemical properties of black soils. So this type of soil is typical of the Deccan Trap basalt, and region spread over the northwest Deccan Plateau and is made up of lava flows. That means these black soils is derived from igneous rocks. Okay, just remember Deccan Trap. It is like this. Actually here you may be seeing that map. Okay, the map of India showing distribution of black soils. Just see this color. Okay, black soil, the gray color areas. Here in this area we find distribution of these black soils. It is mainly found in the states of Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, northern part of Karnataka, then Telangana area, some areas of Telangana, and patches in Gujarat. Also see here in Gujarat also we find these black soils, and in some portion also here in southern part of Jharkhand also we find black soils. Actually, how these Deccan Trap and black soils were formed, about this I will tell you that we have learned about the origin of mountains, these Himalayan mountains in class 9, and see between 65 million to 75 million years before present, when the Himalayan mountains were uplifted here. Okay, between 65 to 75 million years before present, that is during the tertiary period, there were fissure eruption here. There were huge, okay, there were huge cracks here. Long cracks were here in the peninsular plateau, and through these cracks lava were oozing out. Okay, hot molten material from the earth's interior were oozing out. Say for example, this is the plateau, and here there were lots of cracks here. Okay, lots of cracks were here, and below it pools of magma were there, and this magma were rising out, okay, through the cracks and spreading. It was not ejected, okay, simply oozing out, and it was spreading, flowing in different direction here, just thus covering whole this area. This area were covered by lavas. Okay, and after cooling down those lavas, these black soils were formed. However, in some areas like here and here, due to denudation activities, due to erosion activities, these have been removed. So in this way black soils were formed. Okay, and these soil cover the plateaus of Maharashtra, Saurashtra, Malwa, Madhya Pradesh, and Chhattisgarh. This is about distribution of these black soils. Okay, Deccan Plateau area. You know, Deccan Plateau, actually a river is flowing here. Just I will use color. A river is flowing here. What is the name of this river? It is known as Narmada River. And the plateau south of Narmada River is known as Deccan Plateau. Okay, and these black soils are found these in Maharashtra, then in Madhya Pradesh, and in Saurashtra here in Gujarat, Saurashtra Peninsula. Okay, and Malwa Plateau. Malwa Plateau is somewhere here. Okay, this in between Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh area, and Chhattisgarh also. These black soils are found and extend in the southeast direction along the Godavari and the Krishna Valley. That means black soils are also found in Godavari and this Krishna Valley. Okay, that you will find in patches here in this area. Okay, in this area. And this photograph, figure number 1.7, shows black soils. Just I think you may be seeing huge cracks here. Just observe it carefully. You'll find hexagonal cracks. And let us read about the properties and the characteristics. Black soils are made up of extremely fine clay material, and they are well known for their capacity to hold moisture. So black soils are made up of extremely fine, very small clay material. And one important property or characteristic of this soil is that these black soils are well known for their capacity to hold moisture. That means it can retain moisture for a long time. Once the water is absorbed, then the water will be there in the soil for a long time. In addition, they are rich in soil nutrients. Black soils are rich in soil nutrients such as calcium carbonate, magnesium, potash, and lime. Okay. However, black soils are generally poor in phosphoric contents. And another characteristic is that these black soils develop deep cracks during hot weather. Just you have seen the photograph. Okay. These black soils develop deep cracks during hot weather. When the land is dry, these soil develop big cracks, which help in the proper aeration of the soil. The big cracks help in the aeration of the soil. Aeration here means the process of exposing the soil to the air. Okay, and these soils are sticky when wet and difficult to work. When there is rainfall, then the soil becomes very sticky and very difficult to plow, also very difficult to work, until and unless we till the soil immediately after the first shower or during the pre-monsoon period. So if you want to work on this soil, then we must plow immediately after the first rainfall, otherwise the soil will become sticky. So okay, so this is another important characteristic of the black soil. And about the cracks, development of cracks, again observe the photographs here. Just see here, I think you are seeing big cracks here. And so this type of cracks are developed when the soil is dry. Okay. Up to here, any questions, boys and girls?
No, sir.
Okay, then let us stop here for today. Thank you very much for joining my class. Don't forget to send your names in the WhatsApp group for attendance. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.